thank you. This is your first public appearance after you've gotten hitched, while you've broken 1,000,000 hearts or billion hearts. Let's just say, let's start by wishing you a, happily ever after and marital bliss forever.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi, guys. Good evening. Let me tell you, I feel like I'm flying. Marriage is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. Wow, I feel some kind of magic, some kind of power. It's like I feel like invincible. You know, in superhero movies, you know that moment when like the suit comes on, like. I feel like marriage has done that to me. I feel like I've grown up now. Finally, I'm a man. I feel grounded. I feel secure. No, for real. Why are you laughing? Are you crazy? Why are you laughing? What? I can't feel grounded and secure? I'm really loving it. It's only been about 10 or 15 days, but it's so nice. It's so lovely. I would highly recommend it to all, to the entire young population of the country. If you're thinking about it, take it from me, it's great.
You're so excited 15 days into your marriage. I wonder, when the next set of pressure starts following up, which will be children, what you'll say.
It's not my call, really, honestly.
It is your call.
I mean, partly, but mostly it's just her. And she is so much better at everything. Like this whole wedding, which was like a dream wedding, which she completely orchestrated, you know. I don't even have the vision for it or the capacity to execute something like that. So I've learned very early on that the key to success is just to say yes to everything. Allow her to decide, and she will be happy. And your happiness should come from her happiness. So yeah, just say yes to everything, and you'll just sail through.
Allow me to make an observation as a newlywed. You know, before you went into the marriage zone, you were all about your bold fashion statement. But we've been following your wedding closely, as the entire nation is. And we found that you're toned down. Your shadi ka kapda was very toned down, and you're toned down today as well.
Don't let this corporate-looking suit fool you. It's a ploy. I'm going to try and sound intelligent. I'm trying to look the part today. So it's not that. I wanted to twin with her. You know, I wanted us to look good together. So I was like, you decide what to wear, and I'll wear something that looks good on you.
Wow.
You know?
Pretty deep.
Yeah. I mean, see, you've got to give her priority on everything. Yeah. Key to success in life. That guy knows it.
So, let's talk about you, Ranveer. Yeah? So this is the Ranveer, or the man we knew, the authentic dresser that we know, who's out there, who's wild, who's crazy, whose energy levels never dies. Which part is strategic? Because, we live in an always-on world, and I don't know how you guys do it, because it's you're traced everywhere, and even on social media, you need to be on high energy levels all the time. And I don't think many people in the audience know that you're actually an advertising guy.
Yeah.
And you did fantastically well in Ogilvy before you got your big break in Bollywood. Yeah. So how was the guy at Ogilvy? How was the Ranveer Singh then?
I'm going to answer in parts. First of all, I'm not toned down. Did you see what I was wearing for my wedding? I was wearing a leopard on my shoulder for one of the events. A leopard who had green lasers coming out of his eyes. Is that by what barometer or yardstick? Or how is that toned down? So yeah, I don't think I'm going to tone down or change who I am just because now I'm married. Which leads me into my next part of the response, which is, if it happens, I'm not going to filter it. I'll just allow it to happen. If it happens naturally, then so be it. If I'm wearing a white t-shirt and blue jeans and she thinks I'm looking hot, I'm going to wear more white t-shirt and blue jeans more often. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens. Which leads me into that response. In my case, I don't know how it is for my peers. I'd be interested to know for sure. For me, there was a big change that came about after my first 2 years. You know, my first 2 years, I was, I was, or seeking everyone's validation,
Sure.
you know, and I was trying to fit into what I thought is the expected mold of an up and coming, leading man in mainstream cinema. So all my decisions, even to do with clothing, would be okay. This is what I think people will like. And then I had a life-changing experience. It was a very serious back injury, which I was bedridden for many months, and I introspected, and I realized that it was too taxing to strategize. It's too taxing because of the kind of scrutiny that you're under on a daily basis with paparazzi culture, social media, and everybody has a microphone in their hand in the age of social media. They can give their opinion and they will be heard. There's a ready platform for that. It just gets too exhausting. It gets too taxing to design and to strategize. The easiest part, and the one that now I've come to now believe is most resonant, is authenticity. If you can just be you, that's what will resonate the most. Around that time when I started dressing the way I felt like, I started making decisions, started doing what I feel like, saying what I feel like, being the way I wanted to be, and not saying what I thought people wanted to hear, or dressing the way I thought that they wanted to see me dressed as. It all changed for me. It started. I could feel it, and I felt so much easier because I was just being myself. I think, and that's key in this new age, that we're in, this young country that we're in, these young people, millennials, people who are 90, 18, 19, 20 now, they want authenticity. They can if there's no space left for pretense, for artifice. You have to be authentic.
Whenever we've seen your interviews or you have spoken, you're clearly a person who's been a very, very passionate follower of Bollywood.
Yeah.
Even before I think you came to enlightenment where you decided you want to be a star. If I had to ask you, what's the key difference of being a leading star in Bollywood then and now? What would it be?
I think there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference in the way things are. Stars, earlier had this certain mystery to them. They were inaccessible. You could see them only at a distance and admire them. And that whole definition has changed. That's not what stars are anymore. Now you have, a paparazzi culture. You have, most significantly, social media. The definition of stardom has changed completely. It's almost as if young people don't want to look up to you anymore. They want to put their arm around you. Now they know where you stay, what you eat for breakfast, what you're doing every 2 hours. There is complete access, one-to-one access, and I think that mystery that there used to be, which has got its own charm.
Sure.
But in today's day and age, in this information age, there's just no place for it. The mystery is very, very little because you can actually literally be captured. Everybody has a phone now. Every phone has a camera now. So your stars, the minute they leave the confines of their private homes, can be captured by one and all. There's just so much visibility and accessibility that mystery that used to be attached to a star is completely gone.
To come to talk about a little bit about the Bollywood business and how that's changed, right? Today you have, unlike again the yesteryears where the leading stars, or any star for that matter, was only concerned about getting a blockbuster on the big screen. Today, I think as a leading actor, you must be, you're spoiled for choice because you don't just have the big screen, you have now the likes of Netflix, Amazon, Indian OTTs crowding the place, and you're seeing more Indians actually consuming it. And you also have people who one would have never thought earlier, talent like Rajkumar Rao, Vicky Kaushal, Anshuman Khurrana, who are not actually the creation off the Netflixes and Amazons, but their own niche movies, and there's a space for that too.
Coming to this new age we're living in, it's very exciting. It is become more merit based. Now there are so many avenues, so many platforms. It's not just the big screen. There's television, there's OTT, there's digital, and they all need to coexist. There is this legitimate, strong new vertical in the form of this digital platform, which is creatively very empowering. I think it's a very, very exciting time for content, for there to be a renaissance in what kind of content is being created. Actors like Ayushmann, who's one of my favorite actors, and people, Vicky, who I'm going to be collaborating with soon, Rajkumar, another one of my favorite actors. These guys have made it on the basis of their own merit, because they are damn good at what they do, and that's why the audience is accepting them. And that also is testament to the evolution of our audience. It's an immensely evolved audience in today's day and age. Like I said, they want quality. They insist on quality. Just hype around a film is not going to get them to the theaters. If they are going to, if it's inauthentic or insubstantial, they will reject it immediately. They will shower love and recognition upon you based on your merit.
So are you saying that the era of bankable stars is actually over?
Well, it's almost like a level playing field, and it's not. I think it's not even about the stars anymore. It's not the actual. The actual importance now is transferred on to content in a way that it's never been before. A film that's hyped, that has huge stars and huge budgets, if it's lacking soul, if it's insubstantial, is going to see rejection. At the same time, you have a great story full of soul, full of quality work, which will become a sleeper hit and give you return on investment that is unprecedented. So the audience has become very, very smart, very, very clever. They now have, at the flick of a switch, access to content from all over the world. So if you're saying, where the competition is now, the entire world is a level playing field. Original Indian content goes global because we're always battling the language barrier, and that'll always be there. But more and more, you will see that content from India will find recognition all over the world.
Ranveer, is also another stark difference between the actors of the previous generations and yours, and that is they had only one aim, which was just act in their movies and ensure that they're hits. You guys have to do that, choose your platforms, and these days you see each one of you also trying to ring fence your future by getting into, investing in production houses, getting your own fashion labels, getting distribution rights. I mean, you guys are really, really financially savvy. Is that an added pressure you have to ensure that, it's just not acting, but you're also an extremely prudent businessman?
I think it's the nature of the beast, and that beast has evolved. I think that's become like the one takeaway from this talk is that we have really come to a stage of a huge evolution as an entire industry. Our audience has evolved. Our content is evolving. The nature of this whole gamut, this whole enterprise, this whole beast that I refer to is now a completely different beast. It's not sufficient to just act in films. There's a lot more peripheral stuff around it that also requires your time, energy, and attention.
Exactly.
But let me also tell you this, that time between action and cut, the acting, the performance is still very much the core, and I'm noticing around me that too many people are devoting too much time, energy, and attention to the peripherals. It's almost as if they're losing track of what lies at the core of what they do, which is acting in films. You know, according to me, if your acting in films remains your focus and you're doing well in that, everything else will more or less fall into place. You know, too many people trying too hard to design and project and strategize, like you said. You can't lose sight of the core. The core is still the same, is acting in films.
What's your net worth, Ranveer?
What's my net worth?
Yeah.
मेरे को
Would you be-
पापा को पूछना पड़ेगा.
So, can I safely assume that your papa is your financial manager?
Yeah, entirely. The thing is, I'm very lucky and blessed in the sense that, you know, I have a father who has been a businessman over 40 years now. You know, I have that kind of support. So I can focus on stuff that I enjoy, you know, the creative aspects. You know, I want to acquire new skills that will help me create, you know, get better at dancing, at writing, you know, create different characters. My entire focus, all my time, energy, and attention can be towards bettering myself as an artist and as a performer. Yeah, I don't have to think about these things.
So Bollywood is clearly a force to reckon with, at par with Hollywood. However, don't you think that it hasn't been leveraged as a soft power, because it definitely has that kind of impact, to ensure larger, you know, cultural changes in society, whether it be messaging, cultural messaging, political messaging, or any other messaging? Don't you think Bollywood needs to become the soft power that Hollywood is today?
I think it is. It very much is. I think our films hold a very special place in our society. You know, our stars, creative people working in the film business are revered and are heard. People, masses, listen to what they have to say. And I think our films definitely have the power to impact social change. There's no doubt about that. For instance, Gully Boy, it is the story of, it tells the story of a boy coming from a very disenfranchised background and what the trials and tribulations are of growing up in the slums of Mumbai. You know, and it's got, our films do many a time carry messages, you know, that bring about social change. I can think of examples like Swades, which me as an Indian born, as an Indian kid watching Swades during my university days, I'm thinking to myself, man, I can't not go back to my country, and whatever I do in life, I should do it there. What am I doing here? You know, it changed me. Our films do have the power to impact social change.
But then let me stop you there, because, I mean, we just finished a very powerful movement, which is the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And if I just juxtapose the kind of response we saw from biggies like, you know, in Bollywood versus the response we saw from Hollywood, I think, you know, I mean, Bollywood left a lot to be desired, and just in terms of standing together and encouraging the movement, because I think somewhere they were still operating from fear. And I guess, you know, every industry has their own concerns, but one would have expected more from Bollywood, because this was an important movement.
I think people were perhaps overwhelmed. I don't think they could wrap their head around what was happening. It was happening all too fast, all too quickly. And it was historic. It was, according to me, a revolution. And it brought about a purge. It absolutely did. You have perpetrators who aren't working anymore. So it definitely it made a huge impact from where I stand, and in my perception, that's a huge impact. And what the movement should have done, I think it has. It has changed to a large extent the way men think.
You think so?
I think so.
Because the next one I want to
No,
talk
I
to you
think
about.
every man thinks twice now. They're afraid. They're feared. They're like, if we do something wrong, it's going to be called out and caught out. I think it's made a huge impact at the ground level.
Ranveer, you did a very bold ad with Durex, right? So you'd be the right person. And you please tell me what is wrong with understanding consent in this country. Do you think there's a fundamental problem in understanding consent?
I think it's a it's a very complex question to respond to because what is the line? You know, what a guy is hitting on a girl, and from his point of what might be coming on too hard from her perspective may not be, that's not where's the line drawn? The line, what the line is for her may not be the line for him. This is a completely gray area. So there is no straight answer to that. These things are very, very complex. It's to do with human interaction. Humans are so complex, and when two humans engage with each other, it's too complex. There is no straight answer to it.
What is your opinion of the understanding of consent with Indian men?
I do think we have for the longest time lived in a very patriarchal society. Men feel very, very entitled as a species, at least in my surroundings. But I do find, and then I also studied in America where, the gender dynamics are very different.
Absolutely.
The outlook and view on sex is very different.
Sure.
So I've had that kind of exposure as well. But I do see around me guys who have some really warped,
Understanding of
yeah,
of consent.
of just their sense of entitlement,
Exactly.
is just it's deeply ingrained. They'll laugh at you if you tell them otherwise. I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that as a thought leader, maybe, I don't know, call it what you want, I can contribute towards some of a positive change in that sense. By just leading by example, by just being, I'm hoping I can make some kind of small contribution. But yeah, it's very uphill, and it's too slow moving. But then again, the Me Too movement was historic, revolutionary. I think it's really made guys stop and think.
Sure.
And that itself is a big thing. So I think it's been hugely impactful and significant.
Just to take this on a lighter note, when I was telling people that, I'm interviewing Ranveer Singh as the closer, people were very excited. And the one thing, like 6 people told me, please ask him, please ask him. And this is the effect Bollywood has, even on intellectuals. What do you do with your clothes? You can't repeat.
Right.
So what do you do with them?
You hoard if you're a Sindhi like me.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like we'll never see you in this suit again.
Probably not. You know why?
I don't know.
क्योंकि भाड़े का है. Okay, I don't know how it is for other people, but I stopped paying for shit a long time ago. I endorse enough brands. This is another brand that I endorse. I endorse shoes and clothes and chashmas, and I am a very proud brand ambassador of all these brands. So I actually wear that, on a daily basis. My shoes are Adidas, my clothes are Jack and Jones, my chashma is Carrera, my chaddi is Rupa.
So Ranveer, I'm under a lot of pressure to make you dance. A lot of pressure, right? And people want you to dance on Khali Balli. But before that, I think I must ask you about your upcoming film, Simba.
So yeah, Simba is my first foray into pure mainstream masala. It's the genre I've grown up on, that I've loved, that I've always wanted to be in. I think I've done some good work and earned the right to be a masala hero. And doing it with Rohit Shetty, he's the master of the genre, So it's your CT Tali wali film, the one that you should watch in the single screens like Giddy Galaxy and Chandan and Plaza. And it's that celebration of a hero who is an all-encompassing entertainer, जो romance भी करेगा, comedy भी करेगा, drama भी करेगा, action भी करेगा, and it's been a very fulfilling process. I'm really happy with the way the movie is shaped up, and I'm feeling very good about it.
I truly hope it, it rocks the box office and
Thank
changes
you.
your fortune.
It's my first in and as Ranveer Singh, in and as Simba.
Given that you've not even gone for your honeymoon.
Yeah.
You're busy promoting your film.
Yeah.
Hats off to you.
I'm very happy with it, and I really want to go out and invite people to come and watch it. I really want people to watch Simba because I think it's a great entertainer, and it's for the first time I'm going to be hey hero, I've been that guy in Chandan, in the stalls, in Geti, when the hero comes and you get up and you clap and you whistle, and it's just that celebration, that carnival-like atmosphere whilst watching a film, that shared group experience, which is just so special.
लड़की आंख मारे ओ लड़की आंख मारे